Hi, this is Dr.K.Gunashekhar. I have from 17 experience and I work in different countries with different companies. Today, I want to discuss about a topic called capital budget. So, I want to give a brief discussion about what is called capital and the budget. Capital means it is the amount of investment that the businessman or the entrepreneur who brings to the business. This capital can be brought to business either in the form of cash or in the form of assets as well, like land, building, equipment, machineries, and furniture, or computers, or vehicles, and form. What is called a budget? It is a predetermined plan of an entrepreneur on how to spend his amount of investment on operational activities. So he has to predict what is the gains or the sales he is going to get, and what is the amount of expenses and he would be spending, and what would be the returns for his business. So he has to be very careful in spending the amount of money he has. So he has to prepare a budget on different operational activities. So in the business, there is a capital budgeting, the decision making. So the amount of money an entrepreneur is having, and he has to choose in which of the major potential projects he is supposed to invest. Say, for example, he is having $100,000 and he has to find that how many business opportunities he is having around, which similarly will consume of 100,000 worth of investment from him. So in different activities in a business where you have come to a position where you have to make a decision regarding the capital. So what are these examples of capital budgeting? For example, the decision to buy new machinery. When the machinery worn out or it becomes outdated, then the business is supposed to buy a new machinery. So in such cases, they have to make a decision, what are the new machineries that are being available for their investment, and how much they give us the return, what is their life length, and so on. So they may have different machineries, but among them, which one is suitable for them, benefitable for them, and economical for them, and which can give a long life for the business. So they have to make a decision there. Then in another case, when they are expanding their business into other geographical areas, they have to make a decision, and they have to find that what are the regions they are having available for their businesses to make an investment. So they have to analyze each and every geographical area in terms of sales, in terms of expenses, in terms of competition, in terms of legal formalities, and so on. So they may be having many opportunities, but they need to select which of the geographical area they have to select for their business expansion. And sometimes when the machinery becomes worn out and obsolete, and they need to replace it by choosing another machinery. Or when they want to launch a new product or a new market in another international areas. So in all these contexts, the entrepreneur is supposed to make a decision regarding the investment that he wants to make. But see to that there are many available opportunities for each and every case. In such cases, the entrepreneur is supposed to make a decision. So he can't make a decision just like that. It is a process. It is not a one-step decision making. So because it involves a huge amount of investment. Some of the companies, they may be investing in 100 billion. Some of the companies may be investing 10 billion. So the amount of investment they're going to make is very huge. So they have to follow carefully the steps which gives them confidence whether they can invest or not. So for example, we are going to see what is the capital budgeting process. What are the steps they are supposed to follow through? The first step says identifying potential investment opportunities. As I said, you have 100,000 worth of to invest, but you may have 5 business opportunities. So out of that, you have to select which one is most benefitable or profitable to the business. So in such cases, the second step says evaluating and assessing the investment proposal. So you have to evaluate each and every proposal that is being available for you. You have to assess it in terms of what is the annual cash inflow does it bring, and how long the returns are going to come for us, and what is the economic benefit for each and every opportunity. Only then you can make the third step called decision making. Which of the project is most beneficial for you in terms of sales, in terms of number of years of returns, in terms of expenses, and so on. After that, capital budgeting and apportionment. Then you are going to process with the implementation, and also you are going to see the performance review. So as I want to focus on the second process step, evaluating and assessing investment proposal. So how the business entrepreneur is going to evaluate the opportunities that are available for him. As I said, if you have $100,000 for the investment, but there are 5 opportunities are there to make investment, then how do you select which of the project is most benefitable and profitable? For that one, we are going to use the techniques of capital budgeting, out of which there are 2 methods are there. First one is traditional method, and the second one is modern or discounting method. So under the traditional method, we have some 2 methods. One is called the payback period. So I want to briefly explain what is called the payback period. So it is very easy to understand and simple to calculate. Payback. So assume that an entrepreneur who wants to make an investment of 100,000, and normally at the back of his mind he would be thinking that how much time does it take for me to recover this $100,000 that I'm going to invest. So the length of the period that takes for the business to recover the amount that they have invested initially is called as payback period. So there is also a formula how to calculate this payback period. The formula says initial investment. So initial investment divide with annual cash inflow. So what is called the initial investment? The 100,000. Assume that when you make an investment in this project, assume that you are going to get $50,000 as returns for 1 year. So we are going to find out how many years does it take for the business to recover the initial investment from this project. So the formula says initial investment is 100,000 over annual cash inflow. Annual cash inflow is $50,000. That means for this particular project, it takes only 2 years. It takes only 2 years for the business to recover. Assume that the annual cash inflow is $50,000 for 5 years. That means if you invest 100,000 in this project, you are going to get $50,000 annually for the period of 5 years. That means this is called after payback period of 2 years. Still, this project can give you returns for 3 years. That is called as post-payback period. So even after the payback period, for how long this project is going to give you annual cash returns. So that is called post-payback period. So some of the entrepreneurs also will look into that how long this project is going to give us returns even after the payback period. Then another method called discounting method. So this I want to give you a brief concept of time value for money. So this concept of time value for money is very, very important in decision making of these big projects, which involves a huge amount of money. So what is the time value of money? It says the sum of the money now is worth more than the sum of the money which will be received in the future. As we said that if the business entrepreneur has to predict what is the annual cash inflow from this project each and every year. So it may may give for 5 years with different values. So just you cannot be satisfied looking at the huge amount of annual cash inflow the project is going to give you after many years. Simple understanding. I want to give an example that assume that in the month of January, you are depositing $100 into bank. So at the end of the year, at the end of December, the bank is giving you your money, like $110. That means $100 is your principal value and $10 is the interest that the bank has provided. So even though you are receiving $110 at the end of December, but the value of this $110 in the beginning of the year was $100. That means the concept is, even though you get more money in future, you cannot be presumed that you are getting more money. But you have to convert it, what is the present value of the future cash inflow. So the future cash inflow is $110, but the present value of that $110 at present is $100. You see that the value is less. So this is the concept of time value for money. So when you are calculating, so you have to calculate, even though $1,000 you will get after 1 year, what is the present value of that $1,000 now? It may come up around $900. So in such concept, we have to evaluate what is the present value of future cash inflows, taking into the time factor, or it is called as discounting factor, or it is called rate of return, or it is also called as the rate of interest. So we have different methods in order to find out the discounted cash flow method. So very simple. Even though you get the cash inflow after 5 years, you cannot take that money equivalent to the present value. So you have to find out, so what is the present value using a discounting factor or rate of interest of 10% or 15% or 20%, whatever is being decided by the economist of that particular business. So you're going to discount the cash value and you're going to find out that whether the project is really worth to make an investment comparing the present value of the future cash inflow. So this method will explain called the net present value. We are going to compare what is the present value of the future cash inflows and what is the present value of cash outflow or initial investment. So if you are going to get a positive net present value, then you are going to find this particular project is going to be selected. So if you have many projects using the net present value, you will find out that which project will give higher positive net present value. That project will be selected for the business to make an